Welcome, everyone. Today, we're not exactly doing a deep dive. We're going to tell you some stories of mysteries that, well, at first glance, they seemed solved, wrapped up. But as we start pulling back the curtain, you'll find that finding an answer, often just dead, it opens up more unsettling questions. These are the kinds of stories where the plot really thickens, leaving behind this chilling trail of doubt. Unfinished puzzles. It's like having a complex jigsaw puzzle, but there's that one crucial piece missing. The full picture just stays out of reach. So, our first story begins back in the year 2000. We're in Pakistan, in Balochistan, near the Iranian border. The police there, they get this very unusual tip-off. It's about 3 men trying to sell something truly extraordinary on the black market. We're talking about a real-life mummy from the ancient world. And the price tag. An astonishing $11 million. Okay, so when the authorities actually seize this mummy, it's in a sarcophagus, right? And there's this inscription. It says, I am the daughter of the great King Xerxes. Masareka, protect me. I am Rudugun, the daughter of King Xerxes. Now, King Xerxes, he's a real figure from history. A Persian king, reigned around 486 to 465 BC. Not Egyptian. You might even know him from, the movie 300. So this was potentially huge. The archaeological community, well, you can imagine, they were buzzing. Absolutely electric. Say, if this was a real Persian princess, it could rewrite history. Mummification was thought to be basically an Egyptian thing.
Exactly. No confirmed non-Egyptian mummies had ever been found before this.
So an authentic Persian one. That changes everything about ancient burial practices, cultural links, the works.
It really was a fascinating moment. A lot of excitement, but also, immediate questions. Authenticity is key. So scientific examination had to start. But right away, there was this whole argument.
Oh, yeah. Between who?
Between Iran and Pakistan. Mm-hmm. Both governments claimed ownership. Iran said, well, she's Persian, potentially. Pakistan said, found on our soil. It got pretty heated.
Right, a diplomatic mess. But the scientists pushed on.
Mm-hmm, they had to.
So they opened the sarcophagus. Inside, there's this broken stone lid, and beneath it, the remains, embalmed. A female, about 4 foot 7 inches tall. Huh? X-rays suggested she was at least 21 when she died, and the CT scans, they showed her brain and organs were removed, replaced with some dense material. Just like, a proper mummy.
Seemed authentic at first glance. It even had gold inside. Looked the part. But this is where things started to unravel. Pretty quickly, actually.
Okay, how so?
Well, first, the reed mat she was lying on. Lab tests showed it was made, within the last 50 years. Not exactly ancient.
Not good.
Not good at all. Then the inscription itself. The name. Rudugun.
Yeah.
It actually appeared centuries after Xerxes' time, and the text was translated from Greek, not ancient Persian, and maybe the clumsiest bit.
Yeah.
Modern pencil marks, like LED pencil tracings, found inside the coffin. Schoolboy errors, really.
Wow. So it's falling apart. And wasn't there something about New York?
That's right. This is the kicker. A whole year before this mummy surfaced in Pakistan, an expert at the Met Museum in New York, he'd already seen photos of this exact mummy.
No way.
Yeah. An Iranian middleman sent them, trying to gauge interest, make a quick buck. The expert immediately flagged it as a fake.
Why? What gave it away then?
The wrappings, the style, it all looked like modern Iranian work from an area known for, antique forgeries.
So the theory became criminals got a real Egyptian mummy, dressed her up as Persian royalty to inflate the price.
Exactly. A very elaborate, though flawed forgery.
Yeah. Okay, so mystery solved, right? Fake Persian princess, real Egyptian mummy used in a scam. Case closed.
Well, that's what everyone thought. The artifact part was solved. It wasn't Xerxes' daughter, it was a fake.
But there's always a but, isn't there?
There is. Because when they looked closer, much closer, at the body itself, things got way darker. Remember, they initially thought it was an ancient body because the mummification seemed convincing at first.
Right.
But detailed forensic work revealed something horrifying. The body wasn't ancient at all. It was a modern woman. She likely died around 1996.
What? So, not an ancient Egyptian mummy either?
No, a modern victim.
Yeah.
And how she died? It was violent.
Oh, God.
Her back was broken, blunt force trauma. Her neck was snapped in a 90-degree angle. Spinal column severed.
Jesus.
And the organ removal wasn't skilled like ancient Egyptian priests. It was crude, a hack job, as one report called the brain removal. And they took her heart out. That's a major mistake if you're faking Egyptian mummification. The heart was always left in, believed essential for the afterlife.
And this all happened.
When? Within 24 hours of her death, the violent death, then this rushed, brutal attempt at mummification.
So the real mystery isn't the fake artifact, it's who was she who killed her like that?
Exactly. That's the chilling, unanswered part.
What about the guys trying to sell her?
They claim they were just middlemen. Bought it from someone who got it from someone else. The trail went cold.
Police figured out anything.
They suspected she was from the border region, Iran, or Pakistan. But despite her distinct height, only 4'7", she was never identified.
And no one held responsible for the murder, everything.
No arrests for her death, and it gets maybe even creepier. Since then, 2 more forged Persian princesses have shown up on the black market.
You're kidding!
Nope, both fakes, both containing real, unidentified human bodies. It suggests the same people might still be doing this.
Unbelievable. So, what happened to the woman from the first case, the one found in 2000?
She was eventually given a proper burial in 2008. Still nameless, but at least laid to rest. A very sad end to a bizarre and brutal story.
Okay, let's shift gears now. From ancient fakes hiding modern horror, we move to a much more recent and, frankly, ongoing case. It involves a Danish inventor, Peter Madsen. Back in August 2017, Madsen invited a freelance journalist, Kim Wall, onto his homemade submarine. It was called the UC3 Nautilus. Kim was writing a piece on him. She was a really accomplished journalist, published in major outlets. This was supposed to be a unique interview opportunity. So they set off August 10th around 7 p.m. Supposed to be back that night, but they didn't return. Kim's partner got worried, called the authorities. A search started. The next morning, the sub surfaces, but then, 30 minutes later, it just sinks. Mysteriously, Madsen is rescued from the water, alone. Kim Wall is gone. Police ask him what happened. Story number 1, he dropped her off on an island, said that was a technical fault. Then, as they questioned him more, story number 2, actually there was an accident, she fell overboard. He's arrested for negligent manslaughter.
Right away, the police were suspicious. They figured he probably sank the sub deliberately, to hide something.
And did they confirm that?
Yes. Investigations later show the sinking was intentional, lended weight to their suspicions.
Okay, so the next day, Madsen changes his story again. Now he says, no, she didn't fall overboard. She died in an accident inside the sub, and he buried her body at sea. Out of respect, he claimed.
These constant changes, host, are textbook red flags for investigators. It screens deception.
Yeah, you'd think. Then, 12 days later, August 23rd, the case takes a truly horrific turn. A cyclist finds a woman's torso washed up. No head, no legs, just the torso.
DNA confirmed it. It was Kim Wall, and forensics showed clear signs of deliberate mutilation.
So Madsen has to react to this, right? His story keeps evolving.
He eventually admits, yes, he dismembered her body, but he still insists her death was an accident.
And he comes up with another version in court, September 5th.
Correct. Story number 4, I guess. He claims he was holding the heavy subhatch open, lost his footing, and it slammed down, hitting Kim on the head. Said she then fell down a shaft and died. Then he claims he entered what he called a suicidal psychosis. Meaning he wasn't thinking rationally, basically. And in this state, he chopped up her body and threw it overboard. The prosecution obviously wasn't buying it. They called it absurd. And they had evidence.
Like what?
Hair and blood in the sub's toilet. Women's underwear found in the engine room. And, crucially, his computer.
What was on it?
A lot of very disturbing material. Downloaded videos showing women being tortured, killed, decapitated, asphyxiated. Really graphic, violent stuff. Witnesses even saw him watching videos like that. It painted a very different picture than panic.
Definitely sounds more calculated.
And the torso itself. Multiple stab wounds. And a piece of metal attached to it. Clearly to weigh it down, to stop it from surfacing. That's just planning, not psychosis.
The gruesome finds didn't stop there, did they?
No. October 6th, police divers find her head in a plastic bag.
And did it show signs of being hit by the hatch?
No. No fracture, no blunt force trauma, directly contradicting his story at the time.
They found her legs too, right? And clothes, a knife.
Yes, in another bag nearby.
So, faced with all this, Madsen changes his story yet again.
One last time, essentially. October 30th. Now, he says, okay, forget the hatch story. She died from carbon monoxide poisoning inside the sub.
And the dismemberment.
He did that afterwards, he says. Claimed he was just confused when he told the other stories. But he still denies murder. Still insists it was an accident.
So where does that leave us? I mean, he was convicted of murder eventually, but the actual events.
The exact sequence of events that night on the Nautilus, what truly happened between him and Kim Wall, it remains shrouded.
Was it a horrific accident followed by a deeply disturbed panic cover-up? Or was he a predator who planned this? The evidence leans one way, but
yeah,
chilling. All right, our third story takes us to Poland, 1999. And it's incredibly grim. A guy pushing a barge down the Vistula River feels something snag his tugboat's propeller, thinks it's a branch, maybe some debris. He pulls it free, and it's this pale, leathery sack-like thing, like a big bag made of weird leather. Then he gets a smell, awful, and sees a human ear attached to the material. The horrific reality. It was the skin of a 23-year-old university student, Katarzyna Sawada.
Just the skin.
Yeah, no muscle, no bones, just skin. Neatly cut off at the thighs and neck going up to her left ear. Her face, arms, and nipples were missing, and there was like a seam. Stitches connecting the right breast to the left shoulder.
It was removed with surgical precision, like
Yeah.
someone was quite literally trying to make a human suit. Adding to the horror, medical examiners believe she'd been tortured before she died.
Meaning she might have been skinned alive.
It's a possibility they couldn't rule out. Horrifying. And only one of her legs was ever found. The rest of her body gone. Still missing.
Police at the time, their immediate thought was the movie The Silence of the Lambs. Buffalo Bill.
Right. The killer making a woman's suit.
They were really worried this was just the start, the first victim of a new serial killer. Then, 4 months later, another bizarre, gruesome crime happens. Small village nearby. Police find a 50-year-old man's body, headless, hanging upside down in a basement.
And the skin from his head and face,
Yeah,
it was found in the room, sewn together into a mask.
like Leatherface.
Yeah, the comparison was made. And the killer, it was the victim's own son, a young man named Adam A.
And he actually wore the mask.
Yes, in front of his visually impaired grandmother, apparently. Truly grotesque. So the police, seeing two incredibly unique crimes involving skin body parts in the same region, they naturally thought Adam A must be responsible for Katarzyna's death, too.
Makes sense. Same university connection, too.
Exactly. It seemed too coincidental otherwise. They figured, okay, we've got him. Case closed.
But it wasn't Adam A.
No. He confessed to killing his father. Absolutely. But he swore he had nothing to do with Katarzyna. Didn't even know her.
And the evidence backed him up.
Crucially, yes. DNA found on Katarzyna's skin suit. It wasn't Adam's.
Whose was it?
Nobody knows. It didn't match anyone in the criminal databases.
Wow. So Adam gets sentenced for his father's murder.
25 years.
But Katarzyna's killer is still out there. Unbelievable. So, police had to look at Katarzyna again. What did they find out about her life?
She seemed quite isolated, a bit of a loner, few friends, no known boyfriend. Suffered from depression, apparently worsened after her father died in an accident she felt responsible for.
But there was something else, a change before she disappeared.
Yes. She'd stopped going to university classes about 2 weeks before she vanished, and her appearance changed.
How?
Started dieting, wearing different clothes, dyed her hair blonde. It strongly suggested a secret relationship, someone she was changing for, maybe meeting instead of going to class.
Could that person be the killer? And for nearly 20 years, that's where it sat. A terrifying mystery. Who skinned Katarzyna? Why? Then, seemingly out of nowhere, almost 2 decades later, police in Krakow arrest someone. A 52-year-old man, Robert J.
Yeah, the arrest was quite recent relative to the crime. Police have been very tight-lipped about the details, even now.
What do we know about Robert J?
Some background emerged. Grew up in Poland, apparently an abusive home, very religious mother, and significantly, during his military service,
Yes.
he worked in a hospital, performing autopsies.
Ah, so he'd have the skills, the anatomical knowledge.
Precisely, the kind of skill needed to skin a human body with that level of precision.
So what's the police theory now with Robert J?
They suspect he contacted Katarzyna somehow in those weeks before she died. Maybe met her in Krakow's main square.
And her change in appearance. Dyeing her hair blonde.
Possibly trying to please him. Maybe he preferred blondes. She might have tragically fallen for the man who would kill her.
And the murder itself.
The hypothesis is he took her to his house, maybe imprisoned, and tortured her in his basement. Whether she was skinned before or after death, still unclear.
And the skin suit.
They think maybe he tried to wear it, found it didn't fit, and then discarded it in the river. But again, this case is ongoing. Police are keeping things close to the chest.
Are they worried he's killed others?
Psychologists profiling him certainly believe he fits the serial killer mold. And they found a notebook of his,
Zany.
names and addresses of many women. And since he lived in Canada for a time, police there are now involved too, checking missing persons cases from those years.
So potentially many more victims. Wow. Another case where they answer just leads to more darkness. Okay, our final story for today. This one's about Henry McCabe. He was a Liberian immigrant living in Minnesota, seemed to have a good life, wife, kids, job as an auditor, but he died very mysteriously back in September 2015. So the night of September 6th, his family's out of town. He goes out partying with 2 friends, William and Calvin. They're at a club until about 2 a.m. Then Henry asks William to drive him to a Super America gas station in Fridley. Bit of a weird request, apparently. It was in the opposite direction from his house. But William drops him off. That's the last time his friends see him alive. Then, just 28 minutes later, 2:08 a.m., his wife, Karine, gets a phone call. It's Henry, and she hears him screaming, saying he's been shot, I've been shot. She managed to record the last 2 minutes of this call. You can hear the screaming, and also this really strange noise, like a guttural growling sound in the background, unidentified. And right at the very end, after some silence, a male voice just says, "Stop it."
Chilling. And nobody knows who that voice was or what the noise was. When Henry went missing, police questioned the friends, William and Calvin. William actually had Henry's house keys. Calvin had his wallet. He claimed Henry was too drunk to buy more drinks, so he took it. And it turned out William hadn't even dropped Henry at the Super America he asked for. He'd accidentally gone to a Holiday gas station instead. Suggests William might have been pretty intoxicated too.
Okay, so Henry disappears after that call. Then what?
Almost 2 months pass. November 2nd. His body is found.
Where?
In Rush Lake, in New Brighton, which is about 4 miles away from that Holiday gas station.
4 miles. And the cause of death, he said he was shot.
No gunshot wounds. No signs of physical violence at all, according to the initial reports. So the official ruling came back as accidental drowning. The coroner figured he was drunk, wandered off, fell in the lake, tragically.
That doesn't explain the phone call, does it? Being shot?
Not at all. That's the huge disconnect. Why would he say that?
And how did he get 4 miles away? If he died around the time of the call, walking 4 miles drunk in under half an hour through potentially unfamiliar streets.
Seems highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Almost impossible, really. It raises so many questions the official ruling just doesn't address.
Exactly. So many unanswered questions, like, did he get into someone else's car after William left? Maybe unseen by cameras? Did William come back, maybe realizing his mistake and they argued? Is there more to that? Was it just a terrible, drunken accident? Or suicide, maybe? Could he have been drugged at the club? Or was it something darker, more sinister, and most importantly, why say he was shot? Who said, "Stop it"? What was that growling noise?
The case is officially closed as an accident. But online, people still debate it constantly. It feels profoundly unresolved. We might just never know the full truth.
And these stories, they really underscore something, don't they? Sometimes finding an answer, like identifying a forgery or even getting a conviction, it doesn't bring closure. It just peels back a layer to reveal something deeper, more disturbing underneath. The world's full of these tangled narratives where the truth is just slippery.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? To always look a bit closer, question the easy answers. What else might be hidden just beneath the surface of cases we think are solved?
Absolutely. If these stories got you thinking, maybe sent a little shiver down your spine, we hope you'll explore more with us. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We'll bring you more stories like these, narratives that keep you guessing, questioning, and maybe looking over your shoulder just a little bit. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back soon with another story.